Welcome back to the Circle of Jerks podcast. Got the full house this time since Kurt decided to join us a little bit late. We just crashed the studio anyway beforehand. You've got the Bob Hartman, next to Peter Lundstedt. You got Jer Bear the Bone. You've got Cannonball Kurt.
Kurt, was that your beer?
You got Ryan Flash in the Leather, Conco Sucks, and the commish, John Chattergoon.
I'd like to petition to change my name to Raging Bone.
I want to petition for the Final Four to be Boheim.
Boheim?
Yeah, Jeremy Boheim.
Jeremy
Boheim.
I like that.
For the next week anyway,
Rhapsody over there.
Bohemian Rhapsody?
Pretty good. Did you think about that?
Was that right off the cuff?
No, actually, my fantasy, my bracket is always behind me.
All this Hyman talk is making John thirsty. So
Yeah.
let's continue.
So by the way, if you are listening to us, which obviously you are because you hear my voice, you should probably be drinking. Because, we're all enjoying a couple of good beers around here, and we think the jokes are pretty damn funny, probably because of it. So
the more you drink, the better we sound.
That's right, and the better other things go as well. So you know what? This podcast is going to be the Week 5 preview. So Mr. Raging Bone, would you like to take us through the schedule?
So at 6:30, we have the Sugar Hill Tits versus NWA. At 7:30, we have the Roots versus the Flaming Five.
The Roots being the home team at the 7:30.
Yeah. 8:30, we have Run DMC over A Tribe Called Identity Crisis. At 9:30, we have Wu-Tang versus Pubic Enema.
Pubic Enema. There you have it. So what we're going to do this podcast, we're going to go through all 4 games. We got 6 lovely gentlemen around the table, and we're going to all pick who we think is going to win, and who is leading in the standings on how we picked games.
Well, because you went 4-0 last week, and great picks, we have the Bob leading the pack.
Oh, me? Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that before I asked the question.
83% picking percentage. He's gotten 10 out of 12 games, and then you have Pete R. and Cannonball Kurt, both at 7-12 because Kurt and I just pick the same teams every single week. Then hashtag Conco Sucks, 50%, 6 for 12.
It's almost as good as my save percentage.
And then Jer Barabone is 5 for 12, 42%. And then John Scotterden, 3 for 8, 38%.
All right. So the 6:30 game, Sugar Hill Gang at NWA. Who we got on this one?
Is Brian going to be back?
You should be. I hope he is.
So
he went to the Poconos with his family. So
all right. So that was obviously a big reason for me coming into this game because NWA is just so much better with Brian in the lineup. I think what they need to do is put Steve on Gianni. We're pouring beer over here, and there's a lot of head. So I think the key for this game is I'd really like to see Steve play Gianni the same way he did over the past 2 weeks against the top scorers. He's got to slow him down. The rest of the team will have to try to beat Conco, who had a big bounce back week after the week 1 game where he didn't play so well. Last week he was in the 70% range again. If Sugar Hill really wants to pull out this win, I really think that Kevin Baldwin and Dave King need to be the difference makers in this game. I actually see this game similar to last week where the game finished 10-9 for Sugar Hill Gang, but I think the team that hits double digits is going to be the team that's going to win this one, and my pick is going for NWA for this week.
All right, P-Tar with NWA. I agree with a lot of what you're saying. The Sugar Hill Gang is just getting outshot. Mm-hmm. They've let up 40 more shots on goal than they've actually had themselves. That's 10 per game. You're not going to be winning a lot of games letting the other team shoot on net 10 more times than you are. And they also allow the most shots out of any team. They've allowed 270 shots on the season, 67.5 per game. And that's their kryptonite right now. That you can't come back from those types of letting your goalie get hung out to dry that much. And furthermore, NWA can get rebounds. The NWA team composition has some guys on it that can really they can clean up around the net. They can get those rebounds. I hate to think that Sugar Hill Gang is going to go 0 for 5, but I don't see them winning it. I don't. I shouldn't say I don't see how. the ways you just outlined, Peter, is how they would win it. I just don't see it happening. I don't see them shutting down Mike Bryant enough. I don't see them cleaning up rebounds enough, and then I don't see them scoring on Conco enough to make the win. I think this is a win for NWA. I think it's by a large margin.
And I see Sturgis really having a great game too, especially. No, Jeremy is telling me no. Why do you think it's not going to be a big game for him?
Well, I'm always going to pick my team, so I'm just going to disagree.
Yeah, I already put you down for him.
Everything that you guys say. Like I said, I feel like we've been stringing together a lot of good points in the last couple of games. Hopefully, this game is the game that helps us take it over the top. After a poor outing from them last week, obviously they're going to want it. But at the same time, it seems like, especially looking at last week, that their success is all anchored on one guy. And when that's your team, when that's your team's recipe for success, it's an easy to defend that. Obviously, we're not the greatest defensive team, but I feel like I like our chances in this game.
All right, so Jeremy's picking Sugar Hill Gang. I do have to say also, interesting matchup as always when it's hashtag Conco sucks versus hashtag Gianni sucks. So Conco, what do you think about the matchup?
Two negatives combined to make a positive on my end.
That was deep enough.
But I'm gonna go with.
That works in science, but not math.
I really have no idea what you're talking about. Can you elaborate?
Well, Gianni sucks. That's a negative.
Oh, got it.
I suck.
So who gets the positive?
I do. Because Gianni sucks more.
Okay.
Done.
Yeah.
Nice
I'll
work.
take your word for it.
Okay, I'm picking NWA just because we're all mad, like really mad, like
Yeah,
Tim
you
Anderson
are.
mad.
Like
almost.
format?
Yeah, like Tim Anderson 0-4 mad, where he's not apologizing for shit.
He's not apologizing.
Yeah.
Not during the game.
But quick note, I think it was Kevin Parker. Somebody was telling me last night was asking what color jersey he should bring.
Did he really?
Yeah, and the person who told me, I think it was Andy maybe, joked, so what do you only wash half of your jersey? It was Jeremy maybe.
So hold on.
It was somebody.
Let the audience remember that Conco also mistold the story about Pete Skidmore shooting himself. So I take Conco's stories with a grain of salt.
Yeah. But
They're more like folklore, less
Yeah.
story.
I would interject and help, but I'm not going to incriminate any of my teammates, so I plead the fifth.
I'm picking NWA because we're pissed off. It's going to be tough going against the Sugar Hill Gang just because there's so many shooters on that team. But I think that our defense is going to be able to compensate for that, and I think we're going to be able to get quality shots on Steve, who has kind of been, what is he, only played 2 games so far?
Yeah, 2 games.
Just
Hard
like
to
you
get
did
into
last week.
Hard to get into a good rhythm.
Yeah.
When they're playing 2 games so far this season.
That's my reasoning.
All right, Conco picking NWA based on compensation.
And because Kevin doesn't know what color to wear.
Yeah, that could cause confusion for both of you.
We play really well on the road, though, so.
Cannonball, you got a pick on this one?
I do. I use the same kind of fuzzy math that Conco did. I think that I think Steve, like I said, I don't think he's played enough games to really have a feel for it yet. I think that NWA is really smarting from that loss last week. I think when you add Mike Bryant in it, I think if Mike Sturgis has his Strachwinet in again in the hair, I think it's going to be golden. I look at Steve Newberry and Jamie, and you're right. They know how to clean up the rebounds, and I just see that being the difference maker. More so than even Mike. I mean, Mike's there delivering points. Those guys need to go back to the role they're used to playing, and I just see Steve having a rough night. I don't see the defense on Sugar Hill, so I'm going to go with NWA on this.
Before we get to the commission's picks, 3 of you guys have said that one of the reasons you're picking NWA, the only 3 of you that picked NWA other than myself, is because they're angry or smarting from that last loss. Isn't it more motivating to lose a 1-goal game and to lose 4 straight? 3 of the last have been really close, than 1 shellacking missing Mike Bryant? Like, what's the rationale behind, smarting from 1 blowout, missing your top guy, compared to 4 straight, 3 of which were winnable?
I don't think it's smarting. I think it's just Mike Bryant is a difference maker. I think what happened is that team got thrown out of balance. I don't think that Steve and Jamie were able to do what they're really meant to do well on that team because they had to pick up the slack for Mike not being there.
Yeah.
So it's
That's
not
why
even a
they
smarting
lost,
thing.
but why does that make them win the next week?
Because we're pissed off.
But,
Yeah,
so,
but-
what I'm
So
saying is,
what?
are you
So
that pissed off?
I just think they've got more pieces when I do the fuzzy math again.
Yeah, but
I think
say we-
they come up.
Say we have somebody humping Mike Bryant's leg the whole game. It's gonna throw him out of balance just as much as him not being there.
Are you volunteering, Jeremy?
Maybe. Have you seen his leg?
When he flexes it.
As long as he's in the defensive end.
Mike does
Jeremy,
not
we're
skip
good.
like that. He does not skip like that.
No.
I mean, I don't want to be the douchebag that Jeremy called me last week. I think NWA wins. I don't think it's because they lost last week.
No. I think it's just because they're the better team coming into this game. I think Sugar Hill Gang absolutely has a chance. I don't think it's because you guys lost last week. I think it's because Conco has a rebound game because that's just what he does. So, Commish.
I'm picking Sugar Hill Gang.
Whoa! Why?
Because they're smarting from last
Because
week.
they're so mad.
They're so angry for 4 straight
This
weeks.
is a really close game, I think.
Sure.
I'm picking Sugar Hill Gang because I have a lot of ground to make up for one, and everybody else is taking NWA. So there's some key things that need to happen. Gianni needs to pace himself. You can talk about anybody on that team like burning themselves out in the first period, and he's one of the top ones.
Yeah, that's true.
You don't see much of him in the third, and he's the one that needs to score
No, he can go coast to coast, but when he gets
Yeah.
tired, he doesn't.
because he's burning himself out in the first. Secondly, I think I refed this game, and I was watching Dave King, and I was like, holy shit, that's Dave King. He's freaking good. And Kurt's been singing his praises for a year. And I played on
Love
his
this
team.
guy.
I was on his Winter Classic team and didn't see how good he was.
He's
And
just
you
so
can say,
quiet about
Yeah,
it.
and Kurt was kind enough to leave the cup on the table for us to all find, the YMCA trophy.
Oh yeah,
And
sorry
guess
about
what?
that.
Dave King, yeah, sorry about that. You didn't do that on purpose, you dick.
Just that move.
And Dave King's name is on there.
Yeah.
It's on there exactly one more time than my name's on there.
John Stratton 2.0.
and you might criticize these guys for, blowing their load early, and their defense might lack.
Circle
But
of
they're
jerks.
playing a lot of good defense in their offensive zone. They win a lot of battles in the corners. Baldwin's an animal. Dave King is a quiet animal.
With,
But
He's a lemur.
like a mouse? At the church mouse?
Two things need to happen. Gianni needs to play a complete game, and we got to see what Steve brings to the goal, to the net, to the no goals.
All right, so 4 of us picking NWA, 2 picking Sugar Hill. I was tempted to make this my game of the week because I do think that it could get real close and real down to the wire, but
That's what I was wondering, John, is this your game of the week or no?
I got to see the other games first. Maybe.
Oh, you want to watch them and then you want to pick your
I
game
need
of the week.
I need it right in front of me. We need to be talking about it.
All right.
So 7:30 then is Furious 5 at the Roots. Now this is my game of the week. I do think that this is
No Andy and no Gaffney.
yeah,
You
and
know
that
what?
sucks.
Yeah.
It really sucks, but it's an equal loss from both teams.
I agree.
So I don't think one team is more disadvantaged than the other because they play a similar style. They have similar roles and similar value to their teams.
So similar.
So very very similar.
It's almost like third round pick similar.
Yeah, like I think I might have said similar a couple too many times here. I think I'm getting mocked for it. So obviously both teams can use them, but the Roots, they're on a 3-game winning streak. Furious 5 just earned their first win. So if you guys want to talk about smarting from a loss, maybe I'm just riding some momentum here. So let's go around the table. What do you guys have on it?
I guess I'm jumping in here. So as far as the game is concerned, sucks not to have Andy. It sucks not to go against Gaffey. I love playing the guy because he's just a pain in the ass to play against. He's the gnat that I always talk about. I enjoy playing him simply because he's a great defender, great shot blocker. The Roots are really going to have to stop Paul. He was a big difference maker last week, and obviously we need to stop the rest of the team. But if you stop Paul, you can really get ahead of the game. Our offense has been so consistent, and we need to stay hot if we have any chance of winning this game. I mean, we're already tops in the league for goals scored, playing against the team that has the least number of goals scored in the league at 35. We have 63. But we've given up 8 more goals. Our defense and goaltending has just not been tight all year. but our offense has been there. So I believe that our offense is going to be strong. Tim had a great week last week, so I got to go with my boys this week, the Roots.
Yeah, and you know what, Pete, you hit a couple of big points there about the offense and the defense, and that's I did a poor job handing it off, and I apologize, but that's why it's my game of the week, is because it's very different styles. It's not just the offense and defense, but it's the efficiency. So the Roots have the best offensive efficiency in the league, scoring on 26% of every shot attempt. Every single time they put the puck on net, 1 out of 4 of those goes in. I mean, it's incredible.
That's actually been our game plan. We want to make sure 1 out of 4 goes in.
Yeah, well, so if you actually put one in, you make sure the next 3 miss.
Yes,
I
yes,
mean,
absolutely, yeah.
It's got to be
Yeah,
on goal,
it has to
but,
be. No,
but yeah,
we
you hit
cannot-
the goalie's chest.
we
you
have
hit
to screw
post,
up.
And they have the Roots have the worst defensive efficiency, allowing 25% of all shots against to go in their own net.
Yeah, that's been our game plan.
That is as well. Okay, well, you know it's working for you because you're 3-1.
So surprising with Dan Gladding and Ian Smith on their team.
Yeah, it is. But,
Wow.
so
Was it
the
that
quality shots, Kenton had a couple of shaky games, but so you're scoring on 26% of every shot attempt. You're allowing a goal on 25% of every shot attempt. Why are you 3-1? Because you're out shooting teams plus 40 on the season. You have 10 more shots per game on the season, and therefore, simple math says that that's why you're winning. Meanwhile, Furious 5 has the worst offensive efficiency, scoring on only 14% of every shot attempt. And you can probably thank Paul Paradine for that because he's incredible at scoring, but he doesn't take a lot of high-quality shots. His game plan is always keep putting it on the goalie, put it on the goalie, put it on the goalie. He rarely misses wide or tall. He's always got it on net somewhere, and then he gets rebounds, he gets second chances, he gets third chances, he gets fourth chances. And that's why this is my game of the week, is because I think that could wreak havoc for you guys. I think it's gonna be a super high.
If we don't block his shots, a lot of them are gonna go.
And you're not gonna block all of them. And he's too tenacious, and he's gonna keep getting his own rebounds, his own second chances and third chances. You got Brad Burr having a breakout performance last week. You got Pete, who can clean up. You got Jesse, who's still a wild card. Jesse could make or break the entire team right now, make or break the entire win. I do think the Roots win, but I think it's tight. I think it's like 17-16, and I think it might even go to overtime. But I think it's close. I think it's super high scoring.
I'm gonna disagree with you on one point, and that's the point of them being completely different styles of game. And I'm only looking at the stats from last week because that's what I have in front of me. But if you look at shot totals for both teams, obviously with the game that they played, the other team didn't get a lot of quality shots. But in the past, the Roots have won in shootouts. A lot of shootouts. That's how their games go. Last week against Furious 5, it was 64 shots and 65 shots, which in my opinion is a shootout. So I feel like both teams rely heavily on offense.
But relatively low scoring compared to the Roots games. So yeah, 64 and 65, but that's because Furious 5 is the third best defensive efficiency, allowing only 17% of all shots to go in, and a lot of that's Tim Scott.
Yeah. Again, I feel like it's a shootout. I feel like there's not very much defense from either side in this game. I feel like it's going to be a lot of shots. I feel as though the Roots are going to take this game because they have more scorers on their team at this point, more people that are putting in the net consistently than Furious 5. Whereas Furious 5 is basically one guy shouldering the load so far in this season. Against a team that has multiple threats, especially on somebody like Tim Scott, who was susceptible to the side-to-side plays that we had last week.
Right. You are right about that. They can pass back and forth. That's a great point.
I'm taking the Roots over Furious 5 for those points.
Yeah, and not to gloss over this too, but Dan is going to be a huge factor in this game.
Yeah,
when we talk about containing Paul, Dan Gladbags has to be the one that you're thinking about.
Also, even talking to Paul and talking to other people in the league, if you look at the goals that Paul scored, I would have to say it's a minuscule amount that have been off the freeze. For anybody in this league, it doesn't work anymore. People
he's a grinder now. Yeah. And he's scoring a lot of his goals grinding compared to the Pete and Austin show where they're like basically the planes you see at the air show every year just like wowing people and doing like fancy sparkly stuff. Paul just grinds. And whose style is going to win? Are you going to be high flying, run and gun, or are you going to be just grinding it out?
Our goal is to play like unicorns this year.
Unicorns.
So, yeah, unicorns. Yeah. Lots of sparkles.
Shitting rainbows.
Wow.
Shitting rainbows, yeah.
I'll jump right in after Jeremy because I agree with everything Jeremy said. I think it comes down to the goal scoring efficiency, and I originally had this as a no-brainer, but then I didn't realize that Andy wasn't playing as well. So Andy and Gaffney both out. I think that evens the playing field, but I'm with Jeremy. I think the scoring touch is definitely in the Roots' favor, so I'm going to go with the Roots.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Roots too. Kind of wanted to know though what the over/under is on Dan Glading taking shots to the face this game.
14.
But you know, I feel so bad for these goalies, Tim and Kent, in this game because they're gonna just get peppered by both teams. But the thing is, I think the Roots are going to be able to win this game because of the fact that the way that they set up their goals is not suited to Tim's style of play, where he plays a lot of stand up, and going side to side is something that the Roots excel at, especially with Pete and Austin, those one-timers and those dirty goals in front of the net. And I don't think Tim's going to have a good game against that. But then again, Ken, when he's playing Paul, he's either on or he's off. So it's tough on both goalies, but I think the Roots are ultimately going to be able to come away with the win.
That's a good point. Another wild card in Kent there. John?
Oh, we're not gonna have a pause in between.
I can pause first if you want.
I was originally gonna go with the Roots because of the fact that you beat Tim Scott with a one-timer, and they excel at that. You have to pass and shoot. You can't just take shots right at his enormous pads. But
Would you call them maxi pads?
I'm gonna go with
Camel toe is what I would call it.
Going with Furious
I'm going
5.
with Furious 5 because everybody else.
No,
picks
I
Roots.
regret that.
Well, yeah, that too. But nobody talks about Air Canada's defense. And you think you're going to get these great passes in front of the net, but you're not, because he's right there. He has a good eye for the puck. He's going to stop it.
And then he takes it.
He takes it all the way. And I think he's going to own Kent in this game.
So how many goals is he going to score?
8.
If he scores 8 goals,
And here's another thing to bring it back to an original point. You have Ian and you have Dan. Where's the defense? It's because everybody's screaming towards the net. I've seen Ian in the offensive zone way more than the defense. And if you have everybody doing that, Paul's going to intercept a pass and take it by.
yeah, but you see how many goals he
Gladbach's-
scored?
Yeah, but Gladbags is not going to cheat up on offense. Like he has in the past, but when he has a specific assignment like Paul, Glading excels at that, and I think that he does that.
Oh yeah, and I love when he goes down to block a shot because you know you can see it in his face like I'm doing this. I'm getting ready to just get nailed by this puck.
In
And
the
it just goes
face.
down
Yeah, it
his
makes me
face.
cringe every single time. And I'll tell whoever's near me, what the hell is he doing? He doesn't care.
All right, so everyone picks the Roots except for the commish picking Furious 5. It is my game of the week. It sounds like I'm the only one that has it as my game of the week, but
I could. We don't know yet, remember?
that's right. John is withholding his game of the week until further notice.
Who was your winner?
I'm sorry, I had
It was
the Roots.
Unanimously Roots except for John.
Yeah. So it's
Is
not
that 2 games in a row?
Yep.
Oh, you took sugar.
Oh yeah, no, I'm always gonna take Sugar.
So we'll move to 8:30. Run DMC at a Tribe Called Quest. This was a close second to my game of the week because, man, I mean, you said it in the recap. This team is still scary, even though they're on a 3-game losing streak.
Yeah, it's my game of the week. This was a very tough pick for me, and the more I think about it, the harder it gets. If Zach is better from the flu, I think he's going to try and make up for 3 weeks of losses. I think he's just going to be.
You think he'll play at 100%?
Oh yeah, I think he might even play at 101%, which is scary to think about, and that's bad news for ATCQ. The Tribe. I talked in the recap about how to a T Wu-Tang played ATCQ through hustle, stopping everyone, and just keeping a stick on Mike and Jeff. And this is a great game plan for Run DMC to focus on. However, I just don't know that they can have the hustle, the endurance to make that happen. So my pick is for ATCQ to get back in the winning ways and take this one.
You think Run DMC is going to go on a 4-game losing
Yes, I do. I really do. This is a team that I had such a high pick in the beginning of the season. I think they were my number 2 preseason pick, but they're falling. And the problem is that they're coming up to a team that is very good. ATCQ, who was my preseason number 8 pick, I just think that they're just going to be too strong and they're going to out-hustle and win this one.
I have to agree. To me, it comes down to Run DMC's defense. That's the factor. Zach's going to score his goals. Zach's going to get his. You know he is. He could score 8, 9 goals, and I still think they lose because I think that A Tribe Called Quest didn't have their best defensive performance this past week, but they have good defense. They have pieces.
And they
of
only
muscle.
let in 9 goals.
Yeah, and that's right. That's a great point. They didn't have a great defensive performance, and they still only let in maybe the second or third fewest goals in the night. So, you got a strong goaltender. Zach's going to get his goals, but I think the defense of the Tribe Called Quest shuts down the rest of Run DMC. And then on the flip side, a Tribe Called Quest has decent offense, not the most high-powered attack, but Run DMC has the third worst defensive efficiency, allowing 23% of all shot attempts converting to goals. They have the second worst goals allowed, allowing 54 goals in the season, 13.5 per game. And to me, the whole game just comes down to the defensive Run DMC versus the so-called support cast of A Tribe Called Quest, the Strackens and the Cousineaus and the Brownells of the world. And furthermore, A Tribe Called Quest plays physical, and I think that matches up. I don't think that Run DMC is going to be able to handle the physicality. You look at JJ can, sure, but you look at the rest of that team, and I think they get pushed around a little bit. I think they get frustrated, they get knocked off their game, and I think A Tribe Called Quest runs away with it.
I disagree with you guys. I feel like the Tribe drops 2 in a row this week. I feel like they had that game plan, and Wu-Tang came in and they took it to them. If Zach's at full health, I feel like Run DMC has a better offensive supporting cast than Wu-Tang does. I feel like you have Zach Davis is going to take over a game. Even if he's not at 100%, he's going to come in off of 3 losses and still take over a game. He was, looked like he was going to die and had 5 goals in the last game.
How many goals do you think he has to score to win?
I don't think it. I think even if he puts in 6, I'm going to have 6 for him, probably a hat trick for D'Angelo, with Jerry Wagner putting in 2.
So you don't think A Tribe Called Quest can beat 11?
I mean,
on that defense, and Run DMC's defense hasn't looked good all season long.
Yeah, but the Tribe didn't look very good either. They'll say it themselves. Even in that game playing poor defense, they didn't look great offensively either.
That's a good point.
I mean, A Tribe Called Quest has 42 goals in 4 games. So that, based on their goals per game,
then they would win that.
Yeah, they would win in that scenario.
It's only about 10 goals per game.
Yeah.
So 11 goals wins.
Great point, Jamie.
Got you. I got you. I talked you right into the exact point you wanted to make.
Well, thank you. But yeah, like I said, I feel like it's gonna be. I'm not gonna say that it's gonna start a trend, but I feel like this is gonna be a wake up call to the Tribe after dropping 2 in a row this week.
Kurt, are you awake over there, Kurt?
I'm awake. Well, mostly because Jeremy just put his finger somewhere he shouldn't have. But
Things
you know what?
not to be talked about during the circle.
yeah, I know. I listening to you, Jeremy. I agree with a lot of what you had to say, and especially about our defense last week. Wu-Tang had our number. They knew exactly what to do. I don't know that we're going to have the same problem against Run DMC because our guys all realized it when we walked out there. I think Jeff Burge is aching to score. Like he's not used to not scoring 2 goals in a game, and I think A Tribe's going to beat Run DMC. It's going to be narrow. That 11 goal game sounds just about right, somewhere in that range. And it's kind of a coin toss. It's my game of the week because I really think it's close. I think Zach's hungry. That's the scariest thing. Him and JJ scares me too, though. That guy is an animal. He is an animal. I don't want to see any Tim Anderson action happening in our game because I feel like I would be the guy. Would probably have to play the Tim Anderson role, and that just sucks because I like JJ. But let's not forget, Chris has had an intense defensive streak. I think we all forgot about the Winter Classic when the guy played like a beast. We haven't seen much of that this season, but we know it's in there.
Oh, Chris
Magic Mike's.
Yeah. The defense of just pushing somebody all over the floor.
He does, yeah. Remember Chris Lally?
10 feet off the puck.
Yeah. Everyone thought him and Chris Lally were good buds because they were hugging each other the whole game. And Chris Lally's like, I don't even know that guy.
John and I were at the game.
Yeah. He doesn't use his hands a lot though.
All right. Well, anyway, I'm going with the Tribe, my boys.
In all seriousness, you're not allowed to push people around?
No, you cannot drag people across the gym.
Well, not like by their hair, but unless it's
Bob tends to ride the shoulder. He puts a hand on his shoulder and just lets him know he's there, and he'd like him to go in this certain direction.
I think that feedback and communication is a very
Biofeedback, baby.
I just thought those were massages.
That's what you can tell your significant other. Conco!
I think I'm gonna go with Run DMC on this,
Who's
beating
house?
Aqua Team Hunger Force, because I think that Zach Davis is gonna be bad, and he scares me.
There's the mad
There's
factor.
the mad
again.
factor.
Conco's
Scares
picking
me.
all of his games based on emotion.
Yeah, and I think Run DMC is going to be able to get more shots on net. Aqua Team Hunger Force doesn't have the ability to put as many shots on net, I don't think, and that's, I think, gonna hinder them. They're gonna have to rely on Mike and Strack to the future, I think, if they want to succeed and win this game, and Brett too, because I think Brett's gonna get peppered by Brian and Zach.
It's a good point. Have we talked about the goalies much yet in this game?
No.
And John's gonna have to step up big, but I really think that Run DMC is gonna be able to pull this off.
Yeah, Ramsey's had a rough couple of nights here, so he's another difference maker. He's another wild card.
But I don't think that Tribe Called Quest is gonna be able to get as many quality shots as you need on John to beat this team. And this is also my game of the week.
Well, a lot of games of the week here. The commission will not tell you whether or not it's a game of the week at this point in time.
You guys have me ready to go with Zach Davis being mad, because we know that he does what he wants to do. If he wants to lose, he loses. He wants to win, he wins.
Listen, being mad is a good indicator whether or not you're going to kick your dog. It's not a good indicator on whether or not you're going to win a hockey game.
Yeah, I never said that I wish I could kick my dog.
Yeah, but
Well,
when
that's-
Zach Davis can make you feel like you've just been date raped when you play him. You get all done, and you're just
Check,
like,
please.
wow, I'm
Check.
checking.
There's the line back there. We
Yeah, I
crossed
know,
that.
I jumped over it.
I think we
I
crossed that
pulled
line
off
week
the-
one.
Yeah, we did cross that line week one. Sorry.
And it's not to say that I don't believe in every player on Run DMC. They're a very good team, but what they've shown us is that their defense hasn't been playing very well. And you need a team defense to beat the Tribe Called Quest. And we're all forgetting, like, yeah, Zach's going to want to score his goals, and he can pretty much at will, but he has to face Jeff Burge, who's one of the best defenders in the league. Mike Verlano is one of the most physical players in the league. And I'm calling a big game for Chicken Stracatory.
So you have ATC
I have
winning this.
ATC,
All right.
yes.
And that's a great point you made there, John. It is. Stracatory was the great point. It completely distracted me from the actual good point you made.
Distracted you.
Distracting me. No, it's that the scoring from Tribe or from Run DMC. It's the rest of those players. I don't know. I gotta stick with the Tribe Called Quest. Game 4, 9:30. Public Enemy at Wu-Tang Clan. A team near and dear to my own heart and to the commission's heart because we're on it. Public Enemy coming off a big win, big upset win that only one of the 6 of us picked correctly. Me.
I thought I picked them.
Yeah, John was rooting for them. John was definitely rooting for them because he thought he picked them. And Wu-Tang Clan, the only undefeated team left, but I'll brag a lot about picking games right. I don't like bragging about this 4-0 because I feel like a lot of those games could have gone either way. So it's a kind of a house of cards 4-0 to me a little.
Yeah, I mean, those were notes that I wrote down too, because I mean, obviously in week 2 you're playing Run DMC with, without a sub, but to me, I'm looking at this game and I'm like, how good is Wu-Tang? How good are you guys? You're second in goals for with 52, only one behind in second goals allowed at 40. Second in goal differential at plus 12, only one behind that. You're first in team assists at 25. You're second in overall team points at 77. The only undefeated team left, like you said. I think on top of that is your team is showing up every single week. You have all 5 players, so you don't have to worry about someone not showing up, like a Gaffey or a Brian or freaking Andy Gavin for us.
Or your goalie.
Or your goalie. Everyone is showing up. They're excited to play. But at the same time, you're playing against a team that's done the same thing. They showed up to all 4 of the games, and they're second best in goals allowed. So to me, this is going to be a single-digit game. Wu-Tang does a great job reading the other team, and the reason Public Enemy won last week is because Chris went off and scored 8 goals, 6 in the third period. I don't see that happening this week. So to me, it's going to be a very low-scoring game. If there's a team that gets to the double digits, they're going to take it. But I think Wu-Tang is going 5-0.
Yeah, this feels like on paper that it's a no-brainer pick because I've had Public Enemy at 7th in my power rankings all the way up until this week. I have to read on Tuesday or Wednesday to see that I actually moved them. And Wu-Tang I think was on first in your power rankings last week, Peter, and they were second in my power rankings last week. Up to read this week and see where they are.
You tease.
Yes, that's my teaser. But really, Public Enemy's 2-2. They're not a bad team. They're in the top half. I think they're 5th overall in points, just behind NWA because of the overtime tie. And Wu-Tang Clan, we've won some close games. We like you said, we won against a team with no subs. We took NWA to overtime to win it. It's not like we beat them outright. It took a beautiful John to Joe pass in overtime to win it. It's not like this is Congo shaking.
Yeah, you're bring back that memories.
Yeah, try that again.
Yeah.
Every team keeps telling me that. Oh shit.
Well, we try that again.
Oh, we're gonna play it again.
Yeah. Well, 4-0. So, but again, it's a 10.
You haven't played them yet.
Yeah, I said that kind of confident, but my whole point here was trying to be
That was almost John Kipford.
Yeah, that was a little arrogant.
That was not anti-cocky.
Oh.
No. All right, you guys are knocking me off my game here. I picked Wu-Tang Clan. I think that Public Enemy is a good team. I think they're showing that they're a better team, but I think that we have a very complete team that's playing together right now. I will say the wild card to me comes down to Alex. Alex is playing phenomenal. Alex is playing in the top tier right now. He's in the top half in goals in all the categories that matter. And we need that. We need that to continue in order to keep winning games.
I'm going to go with Wu-Tang as well. I'll also call this my game of the week because I haven't called any of the other ones my game of the week yet. So.
You're not going to pull the commission, just
No.
withhold it.
Fuck him. No. I got Wu-Tang over Public Enemy because although Public Enemy in past games have shown some flashes of really great team play, like they're starting to come together, I don't think they're quite there yet. Wu-Tang obviously has been playing solid team play both offensively and defensively. And that's why they're 4-0 at this point. I feel like they continue to do that, and I feel like they dominate Public Enemy.
Whoa.
Dominate.
That sounds like a no-brainer pick right there.
No-brainer pick.
How's that the game of the week and your no-brainer?
I don't know, because like I said,
Because he knows he can go with it.
Listen, it's math. It's math.
it's my only my pick of the week because I didn't pick a pick of the week before this.
Cannonball.
I put that Wu-Tang was going to spank Public Enemy, but then I put by at least 2 points. I don't know if that's really a spanking.
I was going to call you on that if you weren't here.
That's like my dad spanking. You know, when you're growing up, like, hey, your dad's
I
going
don't
to
know
spank
what
you
to
or
do.
you lose a privilege. I'm like, I'll take the spanking because I know he's not really going to hurt me. Yeah, I know. That's the line again. God damn. I suck at this.
That wasn't crossing the line.
Too much information?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Well, you guys should go take a crap in my bathroom again, and you can look at my family while you do it.
Already been
Sorry. Anyway, I just you know what it comes down to for me is I think Public Enemy's defense can't match up against Wu-Tang's defense, and I think you got a lot of shooters on both teams. I know Joe. We just played him last week, and between him and John had 3 goals last game, and yeah, they're beautiful goals. I wanted to give him a game star because of that. There are just some other guys that had a few more, but I mean, he played great, and he's always solid. I just think they're going to overpower Public Enemy, and I think Bill's going to have his hands full all night. You're right, Alex is a wild card, but he's been playing top of the game. I gave him star of the week. I just think that he was the difference maker in this game, and I think he's going to keep riding that wave. So yeah, I'm going with Wu-Tang on this one.
Yeah, it doesn't seem fluky with Alex either, does it? I mean, 4 games in a row now. Like, it's not like he had one good week.
He
It's 4
subbed
games
last night and played
Consistent.
fantastic. I
Very
mean,
consistent.
I think they
85%,
lost.
yeah.
They lost, right? But he played great.
But he
Just
still
scary.
had,
I mean, he lost.
he still had in the top half in save percentage.
Yeah.
That game he subbed after he had the top save percentage in the game he played.
He doesn't look like he's getting flustered at all. He
No.
doesn't look shaken by anything. He just is taking it in stride. He reminds me of a young Conco. A Conco of yore.
I can't go of like fall of 2015.
When did they
Yeah, back then, back before Conco
Had migraines.
apparently, like.
Oh, before I hurt my knee playing football with Andy. No, it was Kevin. Kevin hurt my knee.
Kevin?
You know that cross training will screw you up every time.
Speaking of Conco, and Conco sucks.
This is going to be a fun game to watch. I think that Wu-Tang is going to face a really, really tough test between Bill and then just the defense of Public Enemy. But I think they're going to be able to overcome it just by their sheer talent, top to bottom. And the same mindset, Public Enemy, they're just not going to be able to overcome Wu-Tang's beat. You can't rely on Chris to get 8 goals against that kind of defense, and I just can't see it happening. So I'm going with Wu-Tang Financial because stocks and bonds. Stocks and bonds.
Diversify your bonds.
Yeah, diversify defense.
Stocks and bonds.
Stocks and bonds.
Who's got that good deed?
Speaking of diversifying, Commissioner, what do you think?
I'm not going to go against my team, so I'm going to take Wu-Tang.
I knew you were going to do that.
I think Bill is really hard to score on.
I was going to ask you about that because I know certain goalies have certain people's numbers. So is Bill one of those guys you have a hard time scoring on?
I say that every time I play him, and then I sneak one over his shoulder.
Well,
But if I'm only
one
getting
is
one,
one.
two, yeah. So I guess that's
He like
Oh,
does
yeah.
the classic tiptoe and everything, and he's sneaking it over his shoulder.
Places it in the net.
The fact that we're 4-0 puts a target on us right now, and that's something that Chris Enright is going to take
that's a good point.
right to
Especially
heart.
because you know he's listening to this right
He's
now.
listening to this probably 5 times in a row. He also
He's listening to it right now, and it's not even live.
Yeah, it's not.
He's in the gym.
He's under the
like,
table
boxing.
right now.
He's boxing. He's like, you know, got the Rocky theme song going on in one headphone. The other headphone's his podcast. Like, oh, screw the
Well,
podcast.
Mark was playing
Screw
Xbox
Chaz.
upstairs.
After I just told them they were going to get dominated, too. You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Enright also finds a way to beat me at anything competitive that you can think of. Constantly beats me.
Basket weaving.
I'm sure.
Badminton.
You tell him, hey, we're going to
Stop
basketball
doing
competition. He's going to beat everybody in this room.
I picture playing any game with Enright, like at 8 years old, and like you just could probably never win anything against him because either he'd beat you or he'd change the rules at the last second. So,
Wow.
no, that's not how it works.
Kurt's calling on right.
Kurt's
I
been-
just
Kurt's been the Boy Scout camp. I think that he's taken the basket weaving.
Yeah, but Enright's still
Fair
going to, for
thing.
some reason, beat him. He's just going to, it's going to be in his DNA.
I
It
do
is.
think Bill is going to be a big factor in
Never
this
gives
game.
up.
You know, he's great at goaltending, but the scary part is everyone's picking Wu-Tang in this game. The last time someone did that in the 9:30 game was the Run DMC game against the Roots, and all of us lost.
Hey, we get it. You won.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty excited about it.
We've only had 2 clean sweeps in our picks, and one with NWA and NWA won in week 3, and the other one was our DMC, just like you said, the Roots one.
Here we go.
9:30 game.
what we should do, you stats guys, we should test our efficiency in week 8 versus like week 4 and see where we're at.
I'll still be kicking your ass. So,
Wow, way ahead.
Yeah. So I think we got all the picks in. So just a quick recap. NWA picked by 4 of us. Sugar Hill by 2. Roots picked by 5. Furious 5 by 1. Tribe Called Quest picked by 4. Run DMC by 2. And all 6 picking Wu-Tang, which does not bode well if history is to be repeated.
50-50. What do you mean?
You know, in the 9:30 slot.
Oh, my head just exploded.
So, you know, we talked about this a little bit in the recap podcast. We got a little bit of the time here, although we're still running a little long. Criticisms, feedback, thoughts, disagreements, agreements, anything that you guys want to give us feedback on, either through rocks or Facebook comments, let us know. I'll address a couple of these right now. And by the way, if you have given us any of this feedback from the recap podcast, we recorded these back to back. We haven't read them yet. I'm sorry, I'm not ignoring you. And that sorry comes sponsored by Tim Anderson. So the first feedback we've gotten is Mr. Paul Paradine is questioning. We've been a little hard on him so far this season of Circle of Jerks. It's an inaugural season.
You've been
About
really
not
hard on the
asking-
beef, well.
About not passing the puck quite enough. Paul says that he leads the league in assists. So I want to argue this a little bit. Jeremy Bonet is going to argue pro Paul's point. He's going to argue why Paul is correct that we should not be so hard on him about assists. And Conco is going to argue against on why Paul really doesn't have a leg to stand on. So Jeremy, the floor is yours.
I mean, going forward on the Paul parody, when we first brought up this comment. I want to say it was at Easter. Like I said, I was still coming to Easter, so I was there. It was me, John, and Fos talking about this.
Was there anything bad in your basket though?
No,
Oh.
nothing bad about that. I'm too old for a basket. So,
It's just that
we're
you
talking
haven't
about
found
it.
it yet.
We're talking about it, and we're like, oh yeah, he said that, if you go back to historical records that he has the most assists. And we're like, no, that can't be true. And then we look it up, and sure enough, it's fucking true. He's got the most assists ever. The problem is, I mean, that's the argument for it, is he's right. He's got the most assists. I feel like it gets overlooked because of the amount of shots that he takes. But he's a talented hockey player. He knows how to pass the puck. He can put the puck where he wants it. You can see that with his shots. He's going to have the ability to pass the puck as well. I feel like he's played with a lot of great players, and that contributes to the assists. And when he has the personnel there, he knows how to get them the puck. So, as much as he's getting ragged on for assists, historically, he's correct. He has had the most assists out of any player in this league.
All right, counterpoint.
Hey Paul, it's Cafe. I'm right here. I'm open. Oh, shot it.
And that's the whole counterpoint.
Yeah, pretty much. But Paul's game has evolved to where it's just not his game. Like, you have guys on this team now that don't allow him to pass. So he's not gonna set up a lot of guys or, look for that assist. He's gonna shoot. And then everybody else is gonna just try and pick up those rebounds. But he's just focused on shooting. There's been a lot of times this season where I've seen other guys open, he hasn't passed, but that's his game, and he's good at it, and he can succeed with that too.
P-Dar, what are your thoughts?
The guy leads everything in our league, so of course he's going to be leading assists. I don't understand what the big point is. I understand that we always talk about him not passing the puck, but the fact that he's been playing so many seasons. But if I remember correctly, and once Foes kind of gets everything up on the website,
Called out.
Enright is not far behind him, and I believe he's played like 2 or 3 less seasons than him. But I believe like before the fall of 2015, Enright was like 8 assists away from catching up to him, and because Enright is a big passer in the league. So we're not just talking that Paul is not he doesn't pass, because he does pass. He's just been playing in this league such a long time, and he works with great people to get the assists. It's just when we're talking about assists first people, I think of other people first, like a Chris Enright. So that's really my thought process behind it. Is obviously Paul is a great player, but he's been playing in the league a long time, and he is the top in goals. He's the top in assists. He's the top in points for a reason.
Jeremy, I knew it pained you to have me defend Paul's point because I don't think you agree with it. What's your own counterpoint to your own statements?
I mean, just to kind of coincide with my statements a little bit before I go into the counterpoints, it's human nature. You're going to remember a bad experience 10 times longer than you're going to remember any good experience. So when you start getting pigeonholed into these roles that these people play, it's almost insurmountable.
Cannonball.
Yeah.
I know, my entire career is based on bad experiences
Yeah.
that people remember.
It's
Other
almost,
than the fact that you actually bowled over.
And spankings too.
it's almost insurmountable to come back
Well,
to
that
the
was just last
perception
week, yeah.
that people have of you. Like, he's going to have to probably get 100 assists in one season before we're like, oh yeah, Paul passes the puck.
Yeah, that's a
Because,
good point.
But at the same time, longevity is one of the counterpoints. When you have played in this league as long as you have, obviously I can't really talk because I've been here since inception. I'm not anywhere near there.
How are your defensive stats?
The best.
Here's the thing about this league. There's an institutional memory that kicks in, and certain people are known for certain things, and I think that's what's really coming into play this season, because everyone's looking at everyone to do what they've always done, and we have some people. Look at all the second and third tier players we have rising to the challenge. Everyone's expecting them not to do what they're doing, and they're nailing it. I mean, Strakonet's a prime example.
Yeah, I expected Tim Anderson to apologize, and he didn't.
Oh, he did?
No.
Well, not
Maybe
until after
yeah.
the game, which is
But still,
that's
that's
just
not
a
Tim
dick move in Tim Anderson speak.
I think what we're all losing here is that the criticism wasn't, oh, Paul's career, he doesn't pass. It was this particular game, they were down by 1 goal, and Gaffey had like 4 open opportunities, and he missed it. And that comes because this is just, so if I score 4 goals in a game, I get a game star.
Right.
John had a game. Paul scores 4 goals in a game. What the fuck is wrong with Paul today? So
That's
he's
the
under
point.
a different microscope than everybody else.
And not to mention, Gaffey's only played like 2 games, so pass
Yeah.
to the guy, 'cause he's not here a lot. I mean, give him a puck every now and then.
I think that just maybe Paul shouldn't take the criticism to heart because it was one game and it was true. But over his career, and the longevity thing doesn't hold up here because we went season by season. It wasn't career stats. He had one season with very low assists, and I think his testicles were hanging out of his sack. So, no, like legit.
It's not
John looks at my face. I'm
Drunk
like,
got
what?
verified.
What did you just say?
It's
And
not
John's
even-
like, no, it's
That's
It's not like
you should see a doctor about that.
No, he did. But
Oh,
it's
yeah,
actually
I remember.
a physical issue. He
Yeah.
did. It was like
How
how
do
he's
you-
been missing.
The Auburn league, one guy hit him in the dick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're both
that's a
nuts.
Congo story. That's true.
Oh my god.
I think bottom line, we should rename this league the Paul Paradine Floor Hockey League.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Like Jim Behind Court.
Yeah.
Paul Paradigm Court.
yeah, Paul Paradine Court. That's
There
it.
we go.
Official.
What's his number? Can we retire his number?
It's the number of assists.
It's just the
We can retire his assist number. That's it.
Yeah.
And no, we haven't even talked about his assist during the classic games, like the Winter Classic or the you know what I
He
mean?
has solid
When he has like
Yeah.
6 other top scorers playing with him, like yeah, he's passing it then.
That was fun.
All right, so we're running. Oh, go ahead.
2
Congo.
points on Paul. If we retire his jersey, we're gonna have to like take a model Air Canada jet and hang it from the rafters. And then the one season that he played with Mike Verlano when Zach Davis was on my team and we won the championship, he was insane with the passing. Him and Mike, I
Oh, yeah.
hated playing against them.
Yeah, him and Gianni, they played together too.
Yeah.
If we retire his jersey,
Can't
we're
suck.
washing that motherfucker first, though.
All right, I think we're running out of time for other criticisms. We did get some feedback from Enright about moving to the wing, and I also got some feedback about Peter Lundstedt wearing the worst gloves in the league. Are those oven mitts? Like
Yes,
the
yes.
person who asked, like he pointed out to me, I never noticed. It looks like you're about to work in a kiln.
Yeah, that's actually my goal.
Hot pockets.
Yeah, my stick is really hot. You know, it's been really on fire the past 2 weeks. So.
Do we have any time to talk about
Once
Enright
again, you should
and
see
the
a
wing,
doctor
or should
about
we move on? We're approaching 52 minutes here.
Enright should not move up to the wing. Keep playing how you are. All right, great. That's really the question.
All right. So on to the question. We're gonna ask one that actually these guys have heard before, but hopefully haven't prepared for too much. You're starting a rock band.
Yeah.
Who from the league are you picking to join you? Now let's not get too crazy with the band. I don't need any orchestras or anything, but
Oh.
two, 3 guys, let's say. What instruments are they playing? Who you got and why?
I'm picking Dave Foes as my singer. You guys, that war cry. Yes, we are a hardcore band. I'm absolutely going with Jamie Roder on drums because that guy is.
You know, he's actually a bassist.
Yeah. That's why I'm going with him on drums.
I think there's a bassist in this league.
There's a lot of bassists in this league.
Now, what I'm going to do for guitar, I'm actually a mean air guitarist, but I can't actually play the guitar. So I'm going to pick Mike Bryant because I feel like he's just so nice that he would just come in and just strum like a little.
He's
He's actually a drummer.
All right, that's why I'm
Awesome
going with
drummer.
him on guitar. And then for
Skills
my,
are transferable.
yeah, absolutely. And then for my bassist, I'm going to go with Kyle Antilla. Because he likes to slap the bass. Slap the bass.
He's all about that bass.
All about that bass.
No,
So
no
that's
drummer.
my band right there. I got Dave Foes, Jamie Roder on drummer, guitar, Mike, bassist.
Jared's ready for this question.
Yeah, he is.
Alright.
Did you already have a band formed with like half like?
We had the family picnic band for a while.
It was me, Jeremy, and Foes.
Yeah, I was gonna say you already have a band.
Me,
so-
John Foss, and Josh Faber.
Oh, did I mention Ian Smith is my manager?
Yeah, well,
But- So no,
I thought he was your bouncer too. Security, head security.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm gonna go with me playing the bass because it's the most important member of the band, obviously. I'm gonna go John on guitar because I know that he actually plays the guitar. I'm gonna go Gianni on vocals
Why?
Are you just singing?
I don't even know what.
Wait, are you just singing "Keep Your Stick Down" over and over and over again?
Yeah, that's our it's gonna be huge in Japan. Keep it.
And then Bob's coming with a harmony. Rotate! Rotate!
I'm gonna have
Is that Wayne's World?
Excellent!
I'm gonna have Newberry on the second guitar because you need somebody with long hair.
I've seen him play a stick like a guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then drums, I'm probably gonna go Jesse Trado because you gotta have a skinny guy playing drums.
No shirt on.
No shirt on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's-
Jesse Trado.
Who's your singer?
Gianni.
Oh, Johnny, that's right.
Yeah.
Alright.
Because he spits out fire.
Spits out fire.
So if you guys need a little more time to think, I'll jump in. Going with the skinny guy on the drums routine, Alex Packard for me. He's got to be my drummer. He just looks like a drummer to me. He holds it down. I'm gonna go with John Ramsey as my singer, kind of like rapper, Linkin Park style. I think he's got some rhymes in him. I think he could spit some lyrics. Mike Sturgis, I'm gonna go with as my other front man. I think the guy looks good. He presents himself well. It's all with the swagger.
I love that red coat
Yeah.
he wears.
Yeah.
Is it Ohio State?
Yeah.
It
He's
is.
a big Ohio State.
He's a huge Ohio State fan. But I think he could really captivate a crowd. And then Pat Cousinow, I think looks kind of like a bassist, looks kind of like a guitarist. So he's playing both because why not?
And he's bringing the women.
And he's bringing the
Oh, yeah.
entourage with him. So
There was a woman working out, and I thought for sure she was with him. She went up the stairs and started going. So
She was
Was
probably
she running away
Yeah.
from him, or?
No, they just he's like a magnet. They just come to him.
Come to Butt.
Come to button. Same thing. I'll jump in on that because I had Pat in my band as well.
What does he play?
I'm forming an emo pop punk band, by the way.
That's terrible.
Because I know there's a lot of emo pop punk guys in our league. You don't know about it. By the way, guys, we're all going to Warped Tour July 14th. We're going to be there. But I've got Alex. Alex is my lead singer.
Oh, lead singer.
He's got some angst.
Oh, he's got
He's
some
got it,
voice.
and he is, and he'll be the first to tell you he is pop punk as fuck. So I got Shane. Shane's playing guitar. He's gonna freaking bring the chugs, and he's gonna, yeah, he
He's only
is.
got two
He's gonna be
strings.
he's gonna put the screamo in our pop punk. And I've got Andy Gobbin on bass because he picks up anything quick, and bass playing you can pick that up quick. I was gonna be the bass player, but you know what? I'm gonna be the manager because I also have Mike Furlano playing drums. He's into the pop punk.
Yeah,
He looks like a drummer. He's got some tats.
Aggressive.
And then I've got Chris Magic Mikeski as our groupie. He's gonna be the band supporter.
Oh my god, he would be a great group.
I don't know if he's gonna bring the chicks or what he's gonna do or what.
But he's
what-
so
but either
he's
way-
loyal. He's so loyal.
Loyal.
No matter what happens, people are gonna be happy.
That's right.
Congo?
Oh, let's see. I just had my band too. I'm gonna have Kurt on the drums because he would just beat the shit out of us.
Or another person.
I would have Laley on the bass because Laley knows his music and
Yeah,
he
he
just
does.
seems like a pretty cool, like chill out.
Nah,
man.
yeah, you can hang out.
He's got the chop.
And that's like what the bass
Yeah,
can be sometimes.
that's chill.
And then let's see. I had Austin on the guitar because he seems like a kid that can shred. He's probably played Guitar Hero quite a bit.
His pedigree.
And then I have Joe Gant as our front man because there would be so many just women would be throwing underwear on stage at us.
Dude,
And
that
I
would
would-
be a Kings of Leon.
Whoa.
And
And men.
And then I would just play the tambourine in the background.
No,
No,
that wasn't
no.
my band. I'm just,
I'll make it a band, so yeah, go ahead.
I had Austin on the guitar, but I'll move him to bass because he's playing guitar in Congo fan.
Too
Because
many prior.
we need to we need to be big with the tweens.
He's got the youthful energy.
Oh shit! We need those tween chicks. They buy the t-shirts, they buy the notebooks, the book bags.
John's all about the merch.
Yeah. I want Steve Newberry to do something in this band because he's probably the most creative, just crazy person in this league. So he's playing the drums. My front man is Chris Enright because I feel like he brings that Axl Rose. Like, oh, these speakers aren't working. Fuck it, I'm kicking them off the stage. And we're not playing.
You
We're
just
outta here.
recreated Pantera.
Yeah.
You just made Pantera.
Hell, I feel like Guns N' Roses. I feel like he's gonna be mad. Like James Hetfield just went up in flames. We're gonna steal the show. Fuck this. I'm leaving, and there's gonna be a riot. And what am I missing? Guitar?
Sure.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Who wants to do
Cowbell.
that?
No one's
Don't
listening.
think about cowbell.
Just use it to
Cowbell? I don't think like that. Dave King, you had a great game this week. You're in my band.
Learn to play guitar, Dave.
Quick stat.
Cowbell.
Strat.
All right. Well, we have found that having 6 guys in the circle of jerks makes these podcasts go a little long. As a figure of speech. So if you, hopefully you're still listening by this time, but if not, fuck you. So thanks for listening to Circle of Jerks, and visit Wednesday now.